Welcome back, everybody, to the Outer Reese's podcast. I'm your host, Reese Shalvis, and things are very different today. For one, am doing another solo episode. I haven't done one of these in probably a year. It's been almost a year. Nah, maybe 6 months, 7 months, something like that. I'm not totally sure, but honestly, it's way past due. I've been thinking a lot about doing them for months now again, and here we are. I mean, really, it just came down to me running out of content to post. I don't have any podcasts to post for Friday. Also, happy Arbor Day today. This is when this releases, it is Arbor Day. So everyone go plant a tree. Go take care of nature. Everyone appreciate Earth's beauty, what it has to offer, and the great positive energies that being out in nature can give you. Everyone go on a hike. Celebrate Arbor Day. It's a beautiful day. It's Earth Day. Well, not Earth Day, but similar, right? But I just got back from Japan. I just got about a 3 week trip there, and honestly, I have a lot to say kind of regarding that. It really felt like I was living there at one point. It really felt like I was just kind of absorbing the lifestyle there and learning the culture. It's had a huge impact on my life, and I'm gonna go into that a little bit. It kind of started with when we were first heading out to get to the LAX airport from Salt Lake City, Utah. We actually drove like 10, 11 hours, right, to get there. And by the time we got there, it was like 12 at night, and our flight wasn't for another 8 hours. So we stopped at Long Beach, California, just kind of on the beach. We were kind of checking things out. Lots of people out walking their dogs. Couples kind of going on walks. It was really nice. It was kind of a nice time of night. We didn't think much of it. It was just, oh, this is nice. So we just were going on a walk, checking out the water. Anyways, I was with my friends Colin and Matt. Colin decided to hang out by the bathrooms, kind of back, when you kind of go on the beach. There's that bathroom, and then there's all the sand that goes out to the ocean. Me and Matt, we decided to go out to the water. So we walked out to the water. I was taking photos of everything, right? I had my DSLR camera, and I was just taking loads of photos. I was like, these are sick. These are turning out amazing. And then I look over at Colin, and he's just kind of chilling by the bathrooms. I was like, that's such a vibe right there. I'll probably have these photos posted onto the video if you're watching, but it's like those are sick, right? They're super vibey, and I just was like, man, these are great photos. So I turn back to the water, start taking more photos of the water, of Matt, getting some cool shots. It's like, man, I love this camera. Then I look back at Colin over by the bathrooms. He's pretty far, maybe, I don't know, 200 meters or something, 100 meters. Sorry, not that far. Maybe like 200 feet away or something like that. And so I start taking more photos of him. And the first photo, you see this group of people walking, looks like they're about to walk past him. I snap one more photo, and they turned and they're talking to him. And at that moment, I was holding my camera and I was looking at the screen, and I was like, just seeing that, these just random group of guys was talking to him. I was like, yo, Matt, we got to get back. I have a bad feeling about this. So I'm running. Me and him start sprinting back over there. And as we're running back across the sand, they start fighting. They started like punching at him. And we were like, oh, shit. So we were running back. And as soon as we got back, Colin was on his knees, and his nose was all bloody. He had a broken nose, and they had also smashed a bottle on his head, like just right across the back of his head. Knocked his hat out. He knocked his hat off. He was bleeding, from the back of his head. And as soon as me and Matt got there, they were like, "Yo, let's get out of here," because there was three of them, and it was just him. I think they thought he was by himself. But when me and Matt got there, they're like, "Oh, he's got people. Let's go. We don't want to," because we were a lot bigger than them. I think if it had turned into a 3v3 fight, I think we could have very easily had won. But besides the point, they had ran away, and Colin was left with a broken nose the night before we flew to Japan. 8 hours before we were supposed to fly to Japan. So we were like, no way this just happened. We were mind blown. We couldn't believe what had just happened, because that doesn't just happen to everybody. You don't just suddenly get jumped. Because they tried to rob him, and he refused to give up his stuff, so they started attacking him. And that just doesn't happen to everybody, So we were just shocked. We were like, "What? I can't believe this happened." So we rushed him to the hospital. We didn't want him. We were hoping he didn't have any kind of concussion or anything. And the doctors checked him out, did a scan. He was looking pretty good. Just a fractured nose. And so after that, we hopped on the plane and we set flight to Japan. It was our first time leaving the country to go to somewhere that's not on the American continent. And so we get to Japan, and honestly, it was really life changing. It's given me a whole new perspective on life. It really makes you wonder, because life is such a mystery. You in reality, you only know what people tell you. Everything, unless you've personally experienced something firsthand, you've seen it, you've witnessed it, you've experienced it. Everything you know besides your own personal experience is just from what people tell you and what people tell you, right? And so, for example, life in Japan, living in Japan, traveling to Japan, all you actually know about that is what other people tell you, or really anything about the world. Whatever someone tells you about the world that you haven't experienced firsthand, you don't know actually truly anything about it other than just someone's word of mouth, right? And so to really go out somewhere that you've heard so much about your entire life, and really learned about, whether it's through just your own research, learning it, maybe about history in school, hearing about other people's experience traveling. If you watch anime, you can kind of get a taste of their culture and whatnot out there. But to really travel across the world and experience something like Japan, or really any country, right? I haven't really been anywhere else other than Mexico, but to leave across the world, another part of the planet, you really learn to gain a new perspective. Once you see how their society is, how they're living, how socializations out in public are, how the tourism is, right? How everything is. Once you truly experience that, and not just from a tourist perspective, right? Because naturally we think of travel as just a fun vacation to go out and experience some of this tourism and stuff, right? But the way we kind of looked at this trip was, we looked at it more as a chance to experience a new way of life, a new lifestyle, a new culture, to really just experience what it was all about. And in doing so, it's allowed me to gain a entirely new perspective on everything, like on my own life, on life back here in America, in the United States, even just in my own hometown of Salt Lake City, right? Because I've traveled all over the country, from Miami, New York, Los Angeles, and while there's a lot of different culture in different states, none of it, the differences don't really compare to different countries, especially like when you go to like Asia, right? It's just such different culture, different. You really do experience that culture shock, that you're just like, wow, this is really different. Like, and to really absorb that lifestyle that they're living, to really just live it. It didn't feel so much like a vacation and a trip as much as it just felt like we were living there, and it happened to be the weekend every day for 20 days, right? Like it really just felt like we were living there and just being a part of the society that is over there. And it really changed the dynamic to look at it that way, rather than the fun touristy trip that naturally we want to look at traveling like. And it's there's a lot that happened. Like, for example, I'd gotten sick during that trip. I was kind of sick for like half the trip, but there's 2 days particularly where I was bedridden, absolutely disgustingly bedridden, and I was devastated that I'd missed 2 days of Japan, because this is a trip that me and my friends, we've been trying to plan and go on for like 6 years now, and for it to finally happen, and I got sick. After the 2 days, I was finally feeling good enough to kind of get up and just power through and just do stuff. I didn't want to lose any more days in Japan. But during the 2 days that I was sick, my mind went to a very dark place. It had filled with more self-doubt and insecurity than I have ever experienced in my life. It was haunting. It was a nightmare. I had questioned everything, to my relationships with my friends, my family, my career, my everything, and I really felt like I couldn't do anything in my life. I feel like I couldn't do anything right. I felt like I was never gonna find who I am. I really just felt like I was in this void that I was never gonna get out of, and that really took over me. Even after I'd recovered after the first 2 days and was able to actually go out and do stuff, those thoughts still haunted my mind, and I wasn't sure how to handle it, because at that point I'd questioned so much. I wanted to give up working out. I wanted to give up my podcast, my career, everything I've been working towards this last year and a half. I just wanted to can it. I wanted to throw it into the trash, and it was rough. I was devastated because, like, man, I've spent so much money, so much time investing into this career, into this podcast, into, this lifestyle I've been building, and to just throw it away. There was a point where I had convinced myself, yeah, I'm gonna quit. I don't want to do this anymore. I was trying to figure out where these thoughts were coming from, because right before Japan, I was like, I can't wait to just keep grinding and doing this podcast and stuff. Like, just for this trip, I'd had 3 podcasts pre-recorded just so I could continue releasing while I was on vacation. So that's what I did. And even though through the thoughts, I'd still managed to force myself to release these podcasts. And even though I decided, like, you know what, I'm going to quit, I was still releasing them because I just didn't want them to go to waste. And it was like, when I get back, I don't have any more content, so I'm going to call it there. Maybe I'll just take a break or something, right? My mind was just trying to, like, create any excuse to not continue doing what I've dreamed of wanting to do for years, and pursue a dream that I've been wanting for years. And there was a lot that happened, I feel like I learned so much just from living this lifestyle, and there was several times throughout the trip where I was just really thinking about everything that happened on the trip, building up to the trip, the stuff in LA with Colin getting his broken nose when he got jumped, and there's a lot of things that just started falling into place. Having this kind of new perspective that I've gained from being out here in this country, this beautiful country of Japan. Absolutely love it. The way kind of my new vision kind of started growing from this perspective that I was able to gain, it was inspiring. I formed a new vision that was based off of my original vision for my career, but it was improved. It had a lot more detail and depth, and everything became even more clear, and suddenly it was like, wow, I'm meant to be on this path. I'm meant to go down this journey to try to inspire people. I want to inspire people, and I realized this is it. This is my journey. This is my path. I can't give up now. I've gone too far. I put too much work into this. This is where I'm meant to be. And I kept telling myself that over and over and over when I started getting this new kind of vision for the future. Everything just kind of clicked. And it was the inspirations from traveling to this foreign country that it was just so different. The society is so different that it really did inspire my vision and improved it to continue even harder. Despite the dark thoughts that I was having, the negative self-doubt, insecurities that I was facing. From everything, I was able to find a new and improved vision, which it's a much more beautiful vision. It's a lot more motivating, inspiring, and I didn't even know if I wanted to do this podcast at first because I'm still suffering from jet lag right now. but I knew it's what I had to do. Having this vision, I know I have to do this. I can't stop now. I've gone too far. this is what I'm meant to be. And if not for this Japan trip, I don't know what I would have done, because it really did open my eyes to a whole new perspective on myself, on life, and everything. Really, I can't. The amount of value that I've gotten from this Japan trip surpasses any amount of money that I spent to make the Japan trip happen. The cost of the plane tickets, the hotels, the food, the travel, the stuff we're doing, right? The souvenirs, whatever. However much even if I ended up spending way more, up to say $10,000 for a trip or like this, or $15,000, it still doesn't even compare to the amount of value that I've gained from this trip. And with that being said, never doubt yourself. Never give up. Never let the dark thoughts consume you to the point of no return. Don't let yourself quit just because one day you had the urge to stop, because you lost your motivation, because you lost whatever drives you. Don't let that stop you. Keep pushing through no matter what. Keep telling yourself that you're going to be great. Keep telling yourself constantly, every single day, no matter how you're feeling, that you're going to get up and still do what you need to do, that you're going to one day live your dreams, that you're living your dreams, right? You got to tell yourself to never give up, never doubt yourself. Travel, experience the world, find inspiration wherever you can. Get outside, go out into nature. It's Arbor Day. Go out into nature, find your inspiration, find your passion, find what truly is going to set you free mentally from the chains that are holding you back. Whatever rejection you're feeling, whatever doubts you're feeling, and insecurities that might be dragging you down. Find the inspiration to break those chains, to boost yourself forward, and to keep going, to keep progressing on your journey of growth, because that's really all that life is about, is growth. How far can you take your mental state, your physical state, your well-being? How can you help people? How can you change your life for the better? Where do you want to go? Find that vision. As one of my friends and a local Salt Lake City artist once said, chase your dreams, and if you don't have a dream, go back to sleep until you find it, and then wake up and chase that dream. Anyways, just thought I'd share my thoughts for this weekend. I know this was a shorter episode, but I just want to appreciate you guys for watching and listening wherever it is. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, why not subscribe, like, support the podcast if you want to see more. I'd really appreciate that. And I really want to hear your guys' feedback. If you want to leave any feedback in the comments below, and wherever it is you're listening or watching. I hope you guys have a good one, whether it's the morning, daytime, or nighttime. Have a good one. Peace.